All right, we're good to go now. Oh man. What's for dinner? I had a rib roast. What are my gym tunes? You know, today I actually didn't even straight listen to anything. I was just like, I was actually kind of like just closing my eyes most of the time, resting my eyes. Now I feel a lot better. Let's start coding. Let's get a review. What I decided on the tags is I'm going to come back to it. So let's go ahead and just move to the text area. So we're going to try it. So it looks like the text area from Semantic UI. And this is going to be identical to the regular field, except it's going to be a text area. Do you think you'll still be working on this in an hour? I want to watch more, but busy till then. Yep, for sure. I'll be on in an hour. Yeah, I plan on probably coding on this for at least the next few hours. Probably more. Do you have a day job or do you contract? Right now I'm doing consulting work. Are you on? I'm currently on an iMac. Name, we're going to say notes. Yeah, I was a little disappointed in AppSync. Custom keyboard, yeah, I'm currently using a DAS keyboard. Let's go ahead and call the mutation. We're already doing that. And then on response, I guess we just go to the home screen. So let's go ahead and create that home screen. I guess home screen is just going to be the index. Nah, index is going to be our landing page. I'm gonna call it just home. And on the home page, what I'm going to display is a grid of all the code reviews that have been created. And we're gonna call this list. So we're going to say list code review requests. Let's create the resolver. And we're going to generate the types real quick. How much time did you need to learn React and Redux? I don't know. I'm still learning React, I guess, and like still using it. I guess I would go back to my earliest video on React. That's basically when I started learning React, and then you can kind of see my progression from that. And then Redux didn't take me too long to learn. I would say you can learn that in probably at least a week, if not less. All right, we generated the types okay. I'm on the server. How many Redux form nightmares have you seen? I stopped using a Redux form, so I don't personally deal with it anymore, and I'm using Formic pretty much for all my forms right now. But yeah, usually Redux form gets messy. So it doesn't exist on the type. I'm just gonna see if it just needs to update. Yeah, it did. So we're gonna take no arguments. We basically don't even need to do anything. We're just gonna call the code review requests.find and return that. Why use Redux for forms anyway? Yeah, not really a fan of it. I guess it could make sense if you want your form to be global across many pages, but even then. I haven't tried Vue, so can't say. Thanks, man. Yeah, I got this shirt at some hackathon. I can't remember. And we don't actually need any parameters to this, so we can just do that, I think. Wrap in a query. And what do we want to grab? Pretty much all these things. At this point, we should create a fragment. I always forget the syntax for fragments. Let's go look it up. How rewarding is professional React dev work for you? I love React, but my company does very little React work. Personally, I really enjoy React, and it's one of the things where I wasn't really into web development until I actually found React. And then I liked the functional aspects of it, and it kind of got me more interested into it. What DB am I using? I am using PostgreSQL. All right, so now we can have the same code or same fields that we're selecting for both our query and our create. These are actually brown ones, and it's a DAS keyboard. So whatever came with that. All right, so now we can generate the types on the front end. And every time we add a query or mutation, we're going to be generating types. Validation failed. All right, this exists. I wish it would tell me which one I have invalid. Have you played around with React hooks yet? Been learning about them recently. Yeah, I played around with them. I like them a lot. I think I'm going to be using them a lot when they come out. I'll put some music. I didn't put music on just for copyright reasons. Apollo does not support anonymous functions. There we go. I was just looking what the error message was, so we just need to give this a name. List code requests. All right, so here we're gonna say list of code review requests. We're gonna use the query component from React Apollo. Would you ever live in the Bay Area? Yeah, I would. Would you ever live in the Bay Area? List code. Okay, I need to import this first. Yeah? How's the air quality right now? List code. Where is this coming from? Types. Where do our types go? Schema types, I think. Yep. Yep, I just need to import that. Yeah. All right, so there's no variables that we need to pass in here, so I can just use that. Get data. And let's go get the grid. Oh dang, you're locked out of your house for 4 days. Yikes. Grid. Grid column, you wrap in grids. Okay. Let's say, we'll just say the code URL there. Yeah, they are. But I mean, they have to be for the cost of living. All right. Are you the only one from Paris? Maybe. All right, let's see what this looks like. I haven't actually created a code review, so let's say our code review is going to be this URL. We're going to say something, and let's see what the response from the server is. Received false for non-Boolean attribute error. If you want to write it to the DOM, pass a string instead. Error is equal to false. Is that from the text area? That seemed to fix it on notes. Weird. Response not successful. Let's see what the response is. Thanks, man. Look at this nasty air. It told me that it was using the login request. Yeah, you're right. I should just be looking at the preview. I think I just messed it up on the server or the website, what the response should be. All right, so we put this input. Oh, you know what? Here, let's import it. We're just copy and pasting, so this is gonna happen. Hey, King Dario. Copy that. All right, I think this will work better. Refresh. All right, looks like it created one. Okay, so let's go to home, and we should see a grid, and I do see an item here. Awesome. Yeah, you tried other programming languages than JavaScript? Yeah. So programming languages I have tried: Java, Python. What else? I tried Go for a little bit. I tried Elixir for a little bit. I've tried Haskell for a little bit. Tried Lisp for a little bit. Haven't tried Ruby. No Ruby. Yeah. You know, I mean, I like Django a lot, but I'm kind of into static typing now, and Python's not going to do it for me. C too. I have done some C and some C++ as well. There's probably more, but that's what comes to mind. I've done like a teeny bit of Scala because I did a course that we learned Spark in, and we use Scala for that, but very little, very little. Okay, so let's make this prettier. So we have a single code review request. I don't know what I want them to look like. Maybe let's make them into cards. So they call them segments. Sure, let's try segments. Home. So here we're going to say segment. So what are the values that we have access to? So here we can display a URL, some notes, the number of days, and tags. I guess why don't we display the notes, and we're gonna take up to 150 characters or something, so it's not just a ton of text. Hopefully your project is going to be on Product Hunt. If I get enough of it done, yes. Do you typically start with Create React App as a boilerplate? Yes, but I'm trying out Next for this, and I may be using Next more in the future. So I don't want this to just expand if there's only one item. Like I want a max width or something. Yeah, it's for server-side rendering. It's a framework. All right, let's say a width of 3. Like Meteor, it's not. Meteor does a lot more for you. It's kind of like Create React App, but for server-side rendering, and they just kind of have a different format of how they do things. Yeah, they do. We also want to know who made this. Is it hard to develop your own CLI to scaffold out a project? I don't think it'll be too bad. I'm actually planning on doing that after this project. So what I want to do is also grab the user. So on a code review, there's going to be a owner of this, which is going to be a user. So we already have a user type. So the naive way to do this, and maybe we just keep it naive for now, is we're going to add a resolver. Do we want to export default? I guess. So what I want to do is I want to make a, not a query, but a code review request. Inside of there, we're going to access the owner, and we're going to resolve it. And actually, I don't want to do it like that. So the owner is going to be a string. Because that's how I'm storing it in the database. Maybe I should call this like owner ID or something. That's kind of a little bit better, but I'm just going to call it owner for now. And then here I'm going to call it requester. No, that's not really a good name. Yeah, we're going to call this owner ID, and then we're going to call this owner. Makes more sense. I have a plan to write a Babel plugin transpile from ORM code to raw SQL query in build time. What do you think? I could see that being interesting, because that you kind of get more of the benefit of an ORM without the sluggishness. I could see that being good. So I'm going to just rename this to owner ID. So when we create this, we're going to have to rename this to owner ID. So this is when we actually use the parent. Mainstream watching. What does that mean? Let's call this code review request. Export default. "24-hour tip top." Oh, nice. That's cool. Alright, so we're going to have our owner here. And this is where we're going to grab something from the parent. And do we get access to the parent actually? I have no idea. So we're going to have parent here, and I'm just going to click into the resolvers and see what we get access to. So we get these properties, and we're missing the property that I care about, owner, and that's because we haven't generated the types for it. Are you planning on creating more videos on Prisma? Probably yes. Prisma is interesting, and I really like following like the progress of where it's at. All right, let's go check out the schema types, or we just call it types. And now there should be an owner. And now here we can get the owner ID, and then this is how we're just going to return the user. So here we're returning a promise of a user, and let's see what it doesn't like. Oh, it can sometimes be undefined. So we're gonna have to do what we did before. And I'm gonna say if user, we're gonna return user. Otherwise, we're gonna return null. Null is not assignable to user or promise user. Did I say that this has to return a user? Interesting. All right, why don't we just assume that we get a user back then? So when would this never have a, I guess if someone deletes their account, then this would not have an owner. I think what I want to do for now is we'll just actually return an ID of deleted, email is deleted, and username is deleted. So in the unlikely scenario where this happens, we'll just say that all those things are deleted. Oh, this is a promise. Oh, because we just need to await it. All right, so what that allows us to do now, let's see if there's something wrong here. Ooh, it's not gonna like it now because we're not returning the owner. I'm just gonna straight not worry about this for now. I'm gonna come back to it. I'm just gonna cast it to anything. And I'm gonna have to do the same thing for here because I kind of broke my TypeScript types, which we'll talk about in a second. I first wanna see if now we can request this data on the front end and show it. Okay, so now our list fragment, we can also grab an owner from it. And then we can get the ID, email, and the username. Do I care about grabbing the email though on this particular user? No, I think we're only gonna show the person's username. We can always add it back later. So we can regenerate the types on our website. And now in our query, where did we put it? So our components, that's a GraphQL folder, our pages, our home. We can now show underneath the notes. So I guess we just can put divs inside of this segment. I'm actually not sure how they want us to segment it off. Now we can say crr.owner, and doesn't look the type showed up, so we can come over here. If I open up that file, it usually rereads it, which is nice. And so now we can see the user that created this was Ben. Nice. Is requester a word? And did I spell it right? Yep, that looks right. What are you thinking about business model for this startup? So basically the idea is, ooh, and that's not long enough. Let's make the width longer. It's kind of awkward for this to be split off. Business model is similar to, say, Patreon, where Patreon has people that donate, and then the people that get the donation, and then they take a fee in the middle. So that's what we're going to do as well. So we're going to have code reviews. So there's going to be people that are like, hey, $20, I want a code review. And then there's going to be an expert that gives you that code review. And then in that transaction, we supply the platform, so we take a fee in the middle. So that's basically the idea. All right, so that's our requester. His name is Ben. What would really make this nice is if we had nice little avatar pictures, I think. Just jumped in the stream here. What's the tech stack that you're building here? So I am using React, GraphQL, TypeScript, Node, and PostgreSQL. And this is currently the website. We're using Next.js framework for server-side rendering here. How do you ensure the experts are high quality? So what we're going to do is a rating system. And at the beginning, you're going to have, you cannot take paid work on the site unless you've done like X amount of free code reviews. And that ensures at least X amount of people were happy with that person. And so if someone's able to give code reviews people are happy with, then that's how we know that they are quality. All right, so what do I want to do next? I want to make this card prettier somehow and display the data in a way that makes sense. So let's look at this. I'm just going to look at the types of it. So here's what we're working with. We have the number of days, the code URL. This is something we're not going to really even display. That's going to be something they click on. Tech tags we don't have right now, but we're going to, and notes. I think we want to do more of like a card. I think this format would work out a lot better for us. Oh, that's perfect. Yeah, we're going to be using that, I think. All right, let's get this card in here and let's see if we can get something similar to this working. So we'll import this, and so that we're going to use that instead of a segment now. Now we're not going to have an image right now. That's something I'm going to consider adding later. I mean, it really makes sense to add a profile. It's just time constraints. Not sure if we'll be able to get to it. So we're not going to have this. So where it says Matthew, what do I want there? So here I can put like, ooh, that's linkable. That's nice. So this is where the notes are going to go. I guess that we can make this the requester. Is this stream going to be available on your Twitch account for rewatch, or are you going to remove it when it's over? I'm going to keep it on my Twitch account, and then I'm also going to have it on my YouTube channel, so either place you will be able to view it. Joined in 2015. And instead of this, we're going to say once review in X days. And then here is where we're going to slice our note. And then down here, we're going to say give review. And then we're going to link it to the .code URL. Have you tried REST API and is GraphQL so difficult? That is, a lot of devs are still using REST. I have used REST and I prefer GraphQL for consuming the API and for building the API. Okay, let's just see what this looks like and then we'll tweak it from there. Okay, it doesn't look fantastic, but it definitely looks better. Instead of requester, why don't we just say Ben wants a review Ben wants a review in 3 days. Here are the notes. and you can give the review. Slightly random question: do you use ES6 functions for handling events in React? For whatever reason, I noticed I no longer bind. Yep. Possibly gonna do this is scoped. Yeah. So let's see. I mean, I'm currently not using any classes, but I don't bind anything either. If I had a class, like I was doing handle change, I would just write it like that, and then that will get auto binded. So now if we create a bunch of reviews, they're going to look like this, and if I click on this, it'll actually take me to where I want to go. Now really this should take us to GitHub or something, but we didn't actually. What we should do also is like validate that, we should add some validation that the link takes you to GitHub. We could write a regular expression for that. Are you going to put tags on the card? Yes, at a later date. Because I'm currently basically just punted tech tags out, and going to come back to it because I want to get more of the application done and then come back. All the Facebook document shows binding in the constructor, but it's so much more code to type. Yeah, I think they're both equivalent, and so yeah, I tend to just do the shorter version. So when it really shouldn't say give review here. What it should really say here is offer review. Because we have it to where the other person accepts your review. So let's set up the backend for that. So we're basically creating this thing which we're going to call like they're requesting to review it for you, like a review request. So let's create an entity for that. And now what do I want to call it? Let's call it an offer. We're going to say review offer, or we're just going to call it an offer, or straight offer. That way it's short to type. So what do we need to know about an offer? So an offer is going to be connected to a request, and it's also going to be connected to a user. So it's actually just going to be a middle table. And then it's going to have a single value on it, whether it was accepted or declined. I lose too much time trying to think of good variable names. Yeah, me as well. So we're going to have a single value, which is going to be a Boolean. So this is going to connect to a user. I'm just going to call this user ID, which is going to be the default value for this, but I need to add it anyway. I think, are we done with this table? No, it needs to connect to one more thing. I was like, I think we needed one more thing to this. So this is basically a join table that we made ourselves. You can also have Typeform automatically create these, but because we want an extra column, we had to create it ourselves. So we're going to connect to a user, and we're also going to connect to a code review. gonna be an ID. So this is gonna connect to a code review request. Yep, that's the right thing. It's gonna have offers on that as well. So we can just actually straight copy this and paste it on here. So now why am I saying .user here? One to many. So what do you do with a one to many? You just tell it what it connects to. So in the case, code review request. So this is really an offer. All right, so I think we set up the table. Let's create the module for it. Okay, so what do we want to put inside of these? Offer, we're going to need to know 3 things. Well, I was thinking 3 because accepted, but I think we just need to have the user ID and a code review request ID. I really should just rename code review request to just code review. I'm thinking about just globally renaming this right now because I'm getting tired of typing it and I feel like code review is a slightly better name anyway. I think I'm going to do it. I think I'm going to finish this and then change it globally. We're going to do a big find and replace in a second. So create offer response. I think we're just going to return an OK. So same thing we've been doing, generate the types. First we need to fix the server though. All right, so now that works, I'm going to rename All right, so let's do the mass rename. So first, let's rename this code review. And I just pushed F2 and VS Code renames it everywhere. Now let's rename the folder name, and we're going to say move TypeScript for that. All right, so I'm now going to rename that guy to create code review request to just code review. And let's do exact match of character. All right, this possibly broke a lot of things. So let's just see where we're using the word request, and it doesn't matter where. That's fine. I have a feeling we broke a lot of stuff. List code reviews. Oh, it renamed that. Okay. So let's fix that. All right, let's just fix everything that has red in it now. All right, that's good. This I need to rename to just that. Don't think I need to rename that in places. All right, now let's see what we broke. All right, so GraphQL, code review, query, list, code review requests. I'll try restarting TypeScript. All right, let's see, make sure our path is correct. Code review, query. You know, I'll just re-import this. There's no need. And that was probably what the problem was, is the lowercase c. Oops. All right, let's fix the server first. All right, looks like the server is actually fine. And let's generate the types for it, just to make sure. Still good. Let's see how the website's doing. Website's not doing good. Let's see if there's any red. This page, this component. Get rid of the request. Look at that error barf. Looks like it may be working. I'll be very surprised if this works, by the way. Let's redirect after we complete. And let's go ahead and just refetch. And what are we refetching? What do we call this? List code reviews query, and that should be a capital C. And that should be a capital C there. This is Visual Studio Code. Yeah, I have mine remapped to JK. So what that allows me to do is I can just like keep my fingers there. So like if you watch closely, you actually see a J appear, and then when I hit K, it gets rid of it. And that's just the Vim plugin. And what do I do for that? It's in my settings. So JK remap to escape. Alright, so is our home working now? So theoretically, when I submit this, it should take us to that screen. Nice. And now I want to do a ... effect as well. Router.push comes from, I'll show you in a second, comes from next. And then what we're gonna do, so we're gonna slice this together, and we're gonna say nodes.length. If it's greater than the char count, that means we have to add a dot dot dot. Otherwise, just an empty string will work. Yeah, so here router is coming from next router. Let's bring this up here. Nice. So now we get a dot 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 effect here, but not here. I think we need to do less characters because that just looks like it's getting out of control. Close. So like 90. All right, cool. Now they're all